Good evening, everyone. It's Saturday night on Without a Crystal Ball with Katie, and I hope everyone is having an amazing Saturday. I don't know what it is about the weekends, but I spend half the time working because the week is so crazy and I'm a workaholic. And a lot of you had been asking me to talk about Jaclyn Hill. And I didn't really know a whole lot about her. I just knew that every single drama channel was dragging her all over the internet this week. And I was like, I could probably spend a minute learning about her. Luckily, on Twitter, I've got a couple friends who gave me some details and some videos to watch. And so I did a lot of binge watching about Jaclyn Hill today, followed by an obscene amount of research into the makeup industry and private labels and where products are made and complaints that happen with all of these influencer launches and why we shouldn't be surprised. All right, you guys, this is going to be a doozy today, but I want to talk about the inequity in dragging on the internet and dragging on YouTube when it comes to the beauty community. Because it seems like certain people get dragged a whole lot more than other certain people that also launched products this week. Isn't that funny? And I'm not even a beauty person. I watched a beauty tutorial today on another channel. I don't even remember what the channel's name was, but they taught me how to do a smoky eye. And I will say that I appreciate the person that actually teaches you how to do stuff instead of actually, and practical stuff, instead of just talking about what it is in the influencer world. I'm digging some of these because I feel like I'm stuck in this rabbit hole right now. I might as well start watching some of these people, and I'm actually digging some of these smaller creators, smaller channels. They seem a little bit more authentic, less bought off, a little bit more real, a little bit more relatable. And then there's Jaclyn Hill, who's on another stratosphere. I thought Tati, with her arrogance and divaness, was one thing, but holy crap, Jaclyn Hill takes it to a whole nother level. And she launched some lipstick this week, which everyone is all kinds of pissed off about because it's melting, it has fibers on the lipsticks, it has beads in it, it's gritty, it's grimy, it's breaking off. I watched a review by Thomas Halbert, and he didn't hate it. He actually liked the product. He said it went on really nice. He would just have to reapply it a lot. And he made a comment about her packaging looking so 1995 or 2013, I think is what he called it. And I actually would have to agree with him. I'm not even into this kind of stuff, but I did think that the packaging on her lipstick looks a little bit dated. But that's not even the half of it. The problem is that it's arriving broken, it's sweating, it's melting, it has beads of granulations in it. I'll show you a bunch of stuff in it. Jaclyn tweeted out earlier today a response regarding it. And then all these drama channels, you guys, are dragging her all over the place. But I kind of am starting to think, you know what? Every single time a product launches, there's a problem. People are always bitching. And you know what? I ended up in the rabbit hole of the makeup industry and how they actually make and formulate their products. And I learned today that Jaclyn Hill's line is made by Morphe, who is actually started out as a private label brand, and to save money and make super cheap products, they do most of their manufacturing in China, and they pass off super cheap formulations and super cheap production because it's in China and they don't have to pay, and they pass it off as authentic and real and expensive. And you're paying for ridiculous markup, you're paying for the name. If you're going to spend 18 bucks on a lipstick and it's from China, you are not buying it because it's good lipstick. You're buying it because it has Jaclyn Hill's name on it, which I don't know why you would, because after watching a couple videos of her, I was like, this chick is beyond annoying. And she has more fillers in her face than I would even know what to do with. And that's another thing that irritates me about these influencers is they're selling you all these products and they want you to believe that they're using them. But I bet my bottom dollar that there's no way in hell Jaclyn Smith or Hill, Jaclyn Smith, Jaclyn Hill is going to use the bull crap makeup that she makes because it's crap and it's from China. And you guys are being fooled into buying these products because bull crap, like influencers are telling you that it's like high end, and it's not high end. So let's get into some of the complaints, but then I want to show you how when a certain someone launches products, there's zero complaints. But I found a whole lot of negative complaints for a certain queen, Jeffree Star, but nobody seems to criticize him on YouTube, which would probably make most people on YouTube think, God, his cosmetics must be amazing. Except when you go on to the real online world and realize it's actually crap cosmetics. And I'm sure if his stans are watching, they'll probably be like, you're a bitch. It's the best makeup ever. No, it's not. All right. Let's start with the complaints for Jackie's. I'm just going to call her Jackie because she looks like, I don't even know where she lives, but to me, she reminds me of like somebody that would come from the East Coast because she likes rhinestones and she has everything that like is over the top. I mean, I feel like she should be on like the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Like that's the vibe I get from her. I don't know why. I think she lives in California, but I literally get like the Real Housewives of New Jersey when I watch Jaclyn Hill. But her lipsticks are sweating and people are all over and they have like holes in the bottoms and they are all kinds of mad about it. That has a huge bead in it. That's so gross. Like, ew. If I spent 18 bucks and that's how it arrived at my house, I would be pissed. And that's after one wear? Yuck. Ew. That's so gross. And it's sweating and they're melting. And normally I would be like, oh, these are planted, but like there's so many of these, like how could they possibly be planted? How could they possibly be, because like Marlena from Mug like hates her, which I watched that whole drama today too. Like I have thoughts on that as well. But so everyone's speculating that Jeffree and Marlena are on this let's trash Jaclyn rampage, which they might be. You never know. It is the beauty world. But that's the lipstick, you guys. And if there wasn't like 30,000 of these online, I would think it was all planted. But Jaclyn says it's real, you guys. They realize that something happened in the production of the lipstick and the factory used gloves that had fibers on them and the fibers got stuck to the lipstick. And they're not really sure what's causing the grittiness and bumpy texture. Someone that I know connected to the beauty world and that knows a lot about makeup said that they can get gritty like that when they don't have the right formula. And they can get gritty like that when they're made cheaply in China. I'm sure you could probably get a better Maybelline lipstick for like $5 at the drugstore than the 18 bucks that you're going to spend on the crap that Jaclyn Hill is selling. And she like yelled at people that were giving her crap. And then she like turned around and was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. Like, oh, there's so many of these. And oh, we just found out that they wear gloves that left like all these little things. And ew, could you imagine getting a like lipstick and having a fiber in it? I will make this right and I will learn from my experience. And so this gets me to the whole Jaclyn Hill, like I launched so many makeup lines ever. So I'm going to apologize ahead of time because I know a lot of you already know all about her, but I was floored with her obsessive need to like cash checks by launching 8 million different products with 8 million different brands. And I watched this whole thing that Here for the Tea put out in the fall, and that Jeffrey said they were going to do a two-part expose, and Jeffrey got in the middle, and he said Jaclyn was what, suicidal, and they shouldn't continue on because it was really critical of her, and she did mug dirty, whatever. I watched that whole thing on Here for the Tea. So she was supposed to do with, what does mug stand for again? What does it stand for? Yeah, and she screwed over Anastasia because, like, why would you screw over Anastasia? Anastasia makes way better products. In fact, the palette that I have on my head right now is um, Anastasia Makeup Geek. Okay, so Marlena from Makeup Geek, so Here for the Tea puts out this expose, right? And I can see how people are saying that Jaclyn did her dirty, but I'm a businesswoman and I spent 16 years, I worked in real estate. I spent 16 years in sales. Part of that time was in the real estate world, and the other part was in higher education, but it was always related to sales. And I will tell you one thing about sales is no sale is final until you have someone sign on that dotted line. And Mug, for whatever reason, worked with this bitch for a year and they never got her to sign a contract, but they kept on going and buying products and doing stuff and preparing for launches. And the whole time, Jaclyn seemed really wishy-washy and totally like, I don't even know if this is going to work. She was supposed to launch it in like November of 2016, then it was pushed back to February, and then it was pushed back to April, and then it was going to be July, and then it was finally like by July, like, oh no, I'm sorry, we can't do this because I have this other thing with Becca, because she was going to do this line with Becca for like her face palette, and she had a Morphe line coming out at the same time. Like, I'm sorry, but anyone that is working in this industry, and I will tell you just from experience, is like, if you want to have like brand um, consistency and you want your consumers to have the same brand experience, going from like vendor to vendor to vendor to launch like promo products is really shady because all you're doing at that place at that point for is for the cash, because every single vendor is going to have a different set of quality standards and different, customer base. And it just seems weird to me that she would go with Becca, she would go with Morphe, she would go with Mug, she would do all these different launches with all these different companies. And then she's now going to do her own company with the same producer that makes Morphe, who is a really shady company and that outsources all of their makeup through China. And it's like not the best quality. Now, I'm just, these are just my thoughts on this. Like, these are just my thoughts, okay? So I'm watching all of this and everyone's like, she did them dirty. And I'm like, dude, Mug never got them to sign a contract. And they're the ones that put and footed all this money. If I would have been at Mug and I would have been Marlena, I would have been like, dude, I'm not moving forward with you. Sign the damn contract. Sign it. If you're not going to sign it, I'm not going to order more stuff. I'm not going to formulate more shit. I'm not going to test more products. I'm not going to overnight more shit. But Mug seemed too, like, starstruck because they wanted to get a big influencer signed with their products, and instead just like pretended like they were being strung along and then forked out all their own money, and then they were crying at the end of it when she did them dirty. I'm sorry, you never had a contract with her. Nobody was done dirty. And in all of the emails that were released by Here from the Tea or Here for the Tea, none of it was at all surprising to me because of all the ways that she was communicating with them. Now, for people that hate, what's her face, Jaclyn Hill, you might be totally annoyed with that assessment, but that is my outside perspective, not involved in this industry. Um, yeah. Anyways, that's my first, like, those were my reactions to Jaclyn Hill. And I wish you could have seen my face because I didn't like her. I didn't like anything about her. I didn't want to be her friend. I actually thought she was super annoying. And then her Becca launch that she was at, like, launched, it went really sloppy. There was tons of product issues. They actually ended up pulling the product from the it launched much like this lipstick did, with tons of issues. And then she was all like, "Oh, Becca's so great. They're going to just pull it off and they're not going to resell it. And it's going to be totally fine. I just can't believe how great Becca is. But they did not formulate this right. And they used a different lab. So on the one hand, she's like totally like saying that Becca's great. On the other hand, she's throwing Becca under the bus. So Jaclyn is Mrs. I'm going to just start referring to her as Mrs. Passive Aggressive. Like, I smile and shade you at the same time. And again, I make crappy makeup. So anyone that's bitching and complaining about the fact that her makeup has problems, I don't think, if you don't look through the history of her makeup, you should see that there's any issues. But there's some severe hypocrisy. Oh, and I wanted to show you so that I'm not just pulling this out of my ass. But Morphe did start out as a private label, and the palettes are cheap. They use, according to this website I found, they said they use talc, mica, mineral oil, kaolin, blah, 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 blah. They go to China to cut costs instead of creating jobs in the US. They rely heavily on influencers to build brand recognition, kind of like Sugar Bear Hair does with their stupid vitamins or Flat Tummy Tea. Like these really like shady companies that have not the best like reputations, they're really using these influencers to push bad products, and they know that anything that these influencers will push will actually, people will buy. And so as long as they can get an influencer convinced, and I'm pretty sure that everyone's going with Morphe because like Morphe's probably promising them more cash, they picked Morphe. And if you like Morphe, that's fine. I'm just saying, like, what I don't like is that they're passing it off as like high end when it's really not. It's made in China, it's really cheap, and you shouldn't be surprised if the quality's not there. Doesn't mean all their products are bad, just means they're probably not worth what you're paying for them. Okay? Then I started to see an inequity on here. So everyone's like mad at Jaclyn Hill. Like literally every drama channel is all like, "Oh my God, Jaclyn Hill and her makeup. It's like the worst thing ever. Holy crap." And I'm like, dude, didn't Jeffree like launch like a bunch of makeup this week too? But nobody's talking about it. Except that they're all excited about Jawbreaker. And I feel like all this shading of Jaclyn is to divert and like deflect so that Jeffree's launch can go off without a hitch. Because ain't nobody criticizing his stuff ever. I looked all over YouTube. Do you know how hard it is to find a single critical review of anything that he makes? It's damn near impossible. He has got these channels so bought. He is seriously, like, he is in the hands, in the minds. People are afraid to speak out negatively. He has got people shaking in their boots, and it's kind of sad. And, you know, this is a whole setup by Jeffree to probably, like, to be honest, I wouldn't even be surprised if somehow Jeffree coordinated a way to sabotage their dumb, like, as Cree said, sabotage this whole thing. We were talking about this earlier. Like, I would not be surprised. Because seriously, like, he always finds a way to like get things, you know, and like, so he's launching Jawbreaker and she's launching the lipstick. And oh my God, how many freaking makeup launches do you need in this world? Like, do we need any more makeup? My God. I digress. But everyone's like not talking about Jeffrey's stuff, but everyone's like bitching about Jaclyn. And so therefore, like Jeffrey's makeup can go and be like, oh, I'm launching 3 more crappy palettes that will fall apart and come to your house like 4 months late and will have broken magnets in them or little plates. I'm sorry, the plates might be broken or they might chunk off or they might not blend well. Oh my God, I saw so many of these. Do you want to see how many complaints I found online, not on YouTube, about his products? We can start here. Complaints about his like pressing glitter foundation with like cracking on it. People complaining about products showing up at their houses late, taking months. Issues with his lipstick, lots of issues with his lipsticks with chunks and grittiness and beads in it, like so many beads. And people that were like stands of his saying that they were like loving his stuff and then they were just like, nope, just kidding. And then so many issues with products taking forever to ship. Like forever. I've been waiting over a month for the mirror. It finally came and it was freaking plastic and it looked really cheap and now it's already breaking. They have the worst customer service. It takes them weeks to get back to you. I've had an item stolen on their website. Like their packaging was stellar, but now it's all ugly. They don't care about anything anymore. They don't like it. If you complain, he yells at you. Like I'm sure if he sees this video, he'll yell at me. Like it's they charged me twice with 2 authorizations from PayPal and I still haven't received this is like recent. I haven't gotten my concealer or powder. I spent 40 euros. And he does so much sales on the out of country. These people are like accusing him of taking their money and scamming people and giving them shitty products. This person's waiting 22 days for their products. And they don't respond if they reach out to them. It's like nobody on YouTube talks about this. And I was online and I found so many. And I found so many on Amazon of like cracked and smashed palettes and palettes that had broken plates and broken mirrors. And I watched one critical video where she tried to put in the purple from the Alien palette and she couldn't get it to blend. And then she had another press with another color. And it's like, but his stuff is the best. Nobody ever complains about it. I read stuff about how his concealer is it makes your skin really dry. And if you're someone that has dry skin, it's a horrible concealer. I also read reviews where people said that it's very sheer, even though it's supposed to be full coverage. I read stuff about his pressing powder having hair in it. I read stuff about his lipsticks having like gross beads and grit in them. I read stuff about, the one product that everyone seems to consistently hate and give a 1 star across the board is his lip liner and his pencil. I found multiple sites that have an average rating of 1.5 for his lip pencil because it crumbles, it falls apart, and if you sharpen it, it just crumbles when you sharpen it. And then it doesn't stay and you have to reapply it, and then when you put it on, it falls apart. And people are paying a ton of money for this crap. And he's making it probably through the same lab that makes Kylie's makeup, which is precisely one of the reasons he hates her so much. And it's probably no wonder that some of their product packaging with the bullet lipsticks look similar. When you use the same lab, you might have similar options. Because none of these people actually formulate their own makeup. They go to a lab that already has everything formulated for them. And it's like a pick up your shop and pick the brand and pick it up and slap your label on it and you're done. They allow some customization, so it's not just straight private label. They have straight private label, but then they offer customizations where you can take formulas that they have and, you know, make tweaks to it, make your own colors, that kind of stuff, but it's still formulas they've already developed. If you were to say develop your own, it would take a really long time, which is why people don't typically develop their own. Um, and all of these brands are like using the same few labs around the country, and they're all the same quality. And because they're influencers, and I'm not talking about companies that have already long histories of selling products. Like L'Oreal, for instance, they actually own a ton of the companies that are part of, um, there's 7 companies that actually own like 189 of all of the beauty products on all the beauty brands that you're aware of in the world. Let me show you a couple here. I'll just upload them. I was actually kind of interested about this. I can't talk about beauty without trying to at least give you some facts. I can't just gossip. I have to actually give you some really quality content here. Where is it? Here. Let's just start here. So I noticed on a lot of these brands, there's this really trendy thing called cruelty testing, cruelty free. And oh, I'm going to stop this. Hold on. Okay. So I noticed that everyone is like, it's cruelty free, it's vegan. Guess what? Absolutely no one regulates makeup. And so nobody can actually say whether it's cruelty free at all because there's not a single organization in the government that ensures when a makeup company tells you that it's cruelty free that it's actually cruelty free. So people can slap that on to their makeup and it doesn't matter. They don't have to be honest. They can just say it's cruelty free and nobody's going to be the wiser because it doesn't exist. Even the FDA says that cruelty free they promote it with claims of this kind in their labeling or advertising. The unrestricted use of the phrase by cosmetic companies is possible because there's no legal definitions for these terms. So companies like Tati's cruelty-free vitamins, Jeffrey's cruelty-free, makeup, they all say they're not tested on animals. But the thing is every single ingredient that's ever been tested that most of these companies are using, because people aren't using testing, they're not using ingredients that haven't already been tested. They're using ingredients that have been tested for safety and have been tested on animals. So every single ingredient that's already being used in makeup right today has been tested on animals. So there's 0 things called cruelty free because at one point in time, that ingredient was tested on an animal. And there are ways to safely test on animals without using the whole animal. And the FDA has guidelines on how to help companies use not full testing on animals so that it's not as harmful. But most companies don't have to use animals anymore because guess what? Ding, 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 ding. They've already been tested. So just because they're telling you it's cruelty-free doesn't mean that at some point or other that ingredient wasn't tested on animals, because guess what? They all were. They all were. Every last one of them. Nope, crazy Aussie pagan. There's nobody that regulates cruelty-free vegan in the United States. I looked it up. Nobody. Not a damn person. Anyone that says they regulate it, they don't regulate it. They don't certify it. So people can lie to you and say it's vegan when it's not. And you can do this at your own risk and decide if you want to do it. But there's 0 person in the government that is regulating vegan approved. And if a company is doing it, they're not regulated by the government in the United States. And therefore, it's not you shouldn't trust it just on face value because it's a company that is telling you that it is. In the United States, absolutely no one certifies it. Okay, I'm sorry. In Australia, they might. In the United States, they do not. All right. So cruelty and animal free, it's a freaking scam. Just think about that. Like I was even looking at my makeup tonight when I was putting this on. I have the Anastasia Soft Glam. That's what I have on right now. And it says right here, cruelty free. I don't care about that. I assume everything has been tested on animals. As nice as we want to think about the bunnies and the mice and everything, just everything's been tested on animals. They're either going to test it on animals or they're going to burn people. You decide what you want it to do. Do you want them to burn people and harm people, or do you want them to harm the mice? It's up to you. Which of those two evils would you rather have happen? And typically the animals are chosen because they don't want to harm humans. Not ideal, but effective. All right? So, who are the companies that own everything? Estee Lauder. They own Aveda, DKNY, Armani, Clinique, Estee Lauder, Erin, Tom Ford, Tommy Hilfiger, Origins, Bobbi Brown, Jo Malone, Smashbox, Glamgo, MAC Cosmetics. I mean, they own all of the big brands. So if you think that the Estee Lauder that you get in the drugstore is somehow worse than everything else, I'm guessing it's probably not. Drugstore Estee Lauder is actually not bad. I have some something of theirs. It's pretty good. They're a pretty good drugstore brand. But people are obsessed with these companies, and they're all owned by Estee Lauder. L'Oreal also owns a ton. They own Giorgio Armani. They own Garnier. They own L'Oreal, Maybelline, Ralph Lauren, La Roche, Pureology, Matrix, Manzani, Carita, Urban Decay. That's a big popular one right now. Lancome. Biotherm, SE. So L'Oreal, I actually like L'Oreal. If you're going to buy drugstore, and I have plenty of L'Oreal drugstore stuff, I actually really like their stuff that you can get at the drugstore. I have one of their palettes, and they have a really good fiber mascara that I love. I'm not into makeup. I'm not like a makeup channel by all. I'm just saying like L'Oreal has good products, whether you buy it or not. And they own a lot of really good brands. And these would not be private label brands that they're passing on to you as high quality, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Then there's Unilever, and they own like Noxzema and Dove and Breeze and Nexus, Ultrex. These are like more body Pond's. These seem more like face cleaner stuff. This seems more like body wash type stuff. There's Johnson & Johnson. They have Clean and Clear, Lubriderm, Neutrogena, some more of the face wash, Aveeno, that kind of stuff, Rogaine. So that's just a snapshot. But like most beauty companies are owned by the same companies. So when you're buying products, just remember that. Now, when you're buying influencer products, like, through Jaclyn Hill, through Jeffree Star, through Kat Von D, through Kylie Jenner, there are literally labs in California, ColourPop, which is through Seedbead, which is, I learned way too much today. Seedbead was started by the daughters of the man who has the Spatz Lab, which is the formulator of all of this makeup and is the rumored manufacturer of Jeffree's makeup. And it's all like fast production, like sort of like turnkey makeup for anyone that wants to start a brand. And so if you wonder why these companies and these celebrities or these influencers, when their makeup comes out and it's crap, it's because they're run by these turnkey companies that are like pumping out makeup like there's no tomorrow. And it's made cheaply. There are a ton of like rumors, and not even rumors, like actual accusations that the people that work in these labs and work at ColourPop or Seed Bead are in basically in sweatshop sort of like it's like it's made quickly, and it's the workers aren't, let's just say the workers, there's a lot of allegations that the workers that are working in these labs for Kylie, for Kim, for Jeffrey are not treated very well, don't get a lot of breaks. It's like a damn sweatshop, and it's in the United States. So even though it's made in America, they're still not getting, the workers are not being treated well. And gross. It doesn't surprise me that they've been on the shelf for that long. Oh, Louis Vuitton owns Kat Von D and Fenty. Well, that's interesting. So, I guess long story short, everybody's dragging Jaclyn, and I don't think it's fair because it should be just like they're dragging her. You should just drag Jaclyn because you should just expect that her products are shitty. And I think we should equally drag every influencer that pushes these crappy products. Now, some of these people start out on these turnkey operations and then they get bought out. Like Kat Von D started out with a lab and then she ended up getting bought out. And I'm not a fan of hers, but every time I'm in Sephora, the people that work there, they like her lip liner, not her lip liner, her mascara and her eyeliner. I don't know why. I don't like Kat Von D's. I will not support her. I will not buy her products. But they do say that she makes good makeup. And if it's owned by Louis Vuitton, I guess that wouldn't surprise me that the quality would be better. Oh, Kendo. Kat Von Measles, exactly. Yes, and Morphe is just a damn scammer. Okay, Morphe is just gross. And I know James Charles has his palette and it looks super pretty, but like, you know, I feel like these influencers, if they want to make ethical choices, they need to start being honest with their consumers and stop marking up their products simply because they're influencers. Because nobody's buying Jaclyn's makeup because it's good. They're buying it for her name. And I want to show you, I gotta get a picture of this, oh, I hate the way that this container of the Jaclyn Hill makeup looks. It's so ugly. I feel like it's like 1995. I feel like Tom Halbert was nice when he was talking about her. It looking like 2013. It looks really like I was in high school makeup. It reminds me of what would be in my grandma's purse makeup. It has a damn rhinestone on it. It is so ugly. Well, that's one part of it, but where is the actual cap? There it is. This is her packaging. It is so freaking ugly. I can't even, you guys, it's so ugly. I can't with these people. If you're on my channel, if you're new to my channel, that's like what I always say is I can't with these people. All right. Oh, I forgot to show you the moldy Jeffrey stuff. Hold on. But am I the only one that when I see this packaging for Jaclyn Hill, I think of like Dynasty? Remember that show in the 1980s? Like it's seriously like Dynasty. If it were gold, it would totally be like Golden Girls makeup. It is so tacky. So tacky. Am I the only one that thinks this looks super tacky? It's so tacky. And she's always like, I only put my name on things that are quality. No, I'm pretty sure that Jaclyn only puts her name on things that make her reign with all the money she has. I don't think Jaclyn gives two shits about the quality of anything that she puts out because that is so tacky. There's nothing cute about that. It is so tacky. And it has a rhinestone on it. Oh, I don't know what the appeal is with that chick. Dynasty, seriously. Okay, Scarlett, I was born in 78. I beat you. She could be going for tacky. Maybe that's what she wants to be known for. I'm Jaclyn Hill and I'm tacky. Tacky is the new trendy. Now, oh my God, you guys. Now, we can't have a stream without giving you a little bit more fun here. Like a stream wouldn't be complete if we didn't trash on Tati, right? So let's today I was like, hey, you guys, I just want to know if anyone else is being blocked by Tati because anyone that is on my Twitter that is following me is automatically getting blocked by her, whether or not you actually interact with her. And I asked people to respond, and people sent me screenshots and she is straight blocking. And she blocked me now again on Halo, and she blocked me again on her personal page. So I was unblocked for a minute, and now I'm reblocked, y'all. How am I supposed to actually get feedback from her and like get statements on what I'm reading or like sharing about her if she keeps blocking me? If a company cares about the quality of what they're doing, and a company stands by their product and can handle constructive criticism, like say, for instance, Chipmunk. I said something critical in my article. The CEO of Chipmunk reached out to me that works with Halo. They clarified to me what happened. I agreed with them that what happened was really unfortunate. I made the correction in the article because I feel like any business has the right to correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to put out misinformation and affect their customer base. That's not cool. I reached out to Halo and they wouldn't respond. Instead, they blocked me. And Tati's blocking anyone that is connected to me. That's weird, you guys. Okay, so Rachel, all you have to do is start following me on Twitter. So just follow me on Twitter and Tanya will block you. So yeah. Everyone, Tanya is on a block spree. Just think if they actually spent their time answering customer service calls and emails, how much more stuff they would get done instead of James being all block, 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 block. Oh, we have 37 orders that haven't been shipped yet. Block, 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 block. I mean, that's how I imagine James. He's like, block, 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 block. I've got to set up a new company. Block, 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 block. Got to launder money. Block, 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 block. I mean, that's my impersonation of James. Oh, unbelievable. Oh, here comes the dog. James on his blocking spree. And if you're new to my channel, I do impressions. I have a Kat Von D impression. Remember when she said that she was not a racist and she was not an anti-vaxxer? She's like, I'm not a racist. That was a disgruntled employee, and I am not an anti-vaxxer. I am going to work with my child's pediatrician, and whether or not I choose to vaccinate or not, I will not talk about it again, because I am Kat Von D, and I cannot speak in any sort of intonation with any sort of personality. I am a flat person. That's my impersonation of Kat. Oh, I have so many of those. Oh, she's like, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. That was like my favorite thing that she said. Yeah. Kat's not a racist. Like, I don't have purple hair or have a dog underneath my desk or a cat sitting right here or a cat at the window. There is every animal in my house sitting next to me right now. And then Tati uploaded a video yesterday and then she deleted it and she hasn't put it back up yet. And I think it's because every time she uploads a video, she starts hemorrhaging subscribers. And I think she is trying to like avoid the subscriber bleeding that's been going on since May 20th, I think, or May 18th. She hasn't had a positive day where she's gained a single subscriber since then. So this is what I have for you today. They're unfairly attacking. She is still losing subs. Tanya is still losing subs. They're unfairly attacking Jaclyn. I guess they're fairly attacking Jaclyn, and then they're not fairly attacking Jeffrey. And I feel like we should be an equal opportunity influencer attacker. Because influencers have the responsibility with their platforms to be honest about the products that they're selling, to be honest with their viewers about what they're using for fillers, for filters, so that when they're selling a product, people are realistic and understanding, like, and they don't have the expectation that it's going to make their skin look like that person because Tati gets Botox, she gets fillers, she gets Juvederm, she gets lip injections. I mean, it's not fair to compare and her to be like, yeah, I used to use vitamins. It was kind of like when Khloe Kardashian was pushing tight tummy tea or flat tummy tea, and Jamil was all like, I'm sure it had nothing to do with your trainer, your chef, your nutritionist, your plastic surgery you've had to get those nips and tucks that's gotten your tummy flat. No, I'm sure it's that crappy, unregulated, FDA unapproved laxative that you're pushing to teenagers that are making them poop their pants and become bulimic. I love Jamil. She's actually who inspired me to become more vocal and an activist against all of this, because I agree with her. What they're doing is unethical. It's not moral. If you are influencing this many people, you have a responsibility to be honest with the people that you're selling to, and you should not be overcharging for prices for products simply because you can. That's not okay. And unless the quality deems it to be so. But if anyone else was selling these products in the market, most startups know that you can't run right out the gate, start charging an arm and a leg, because nobody will buy it because they don't know who you are. You're using the fact that people know you to sell a crappy product, and you're like cheating them instead of building quality in your product and promising something that has value. Something that I learned in the 16 years that I worked in sales and marketing was that you should never overpromise and underdeliver. You should always underdeliver and give people, you should always underpromise. So you should always be honest with your customers. You should always tell them and be humble when they're giving you feedback. You should always be realistic in the objectives and the goals that you set. And when you overpromise and overhype, of course, this is what's going to happen, because you're overpromising and you're under delivering, and you're just making you're going to make your brand that much harder to have any credibility in the long run. The only reason they have any credibility is because somehow they manage to keep people conned into buying their crappy products. I can't with these people. All right. Tanya blocked you last year when you told her the solar eclipse was the reason her upload to YouTube was slow. I feel like Tanya would believe that the solar eclipse caused the upload to be bad, and that the aluminum, not even the real aluminum that's in here, that the cancer that she got from her deodorant is why her uploads are bad. Tati has a really like messed up woo-filled life about her beliefs about products and toxins, and she believes all the woo. And it's like she clearly has depression and anxiety and doesn't take antidepressants. She thinks she can fix it with diet and supplements, and that's really not how mental health works. So I'm gonna just keep speaking out about all this crap and being a voice of reason in a crazy world. And I'm going to keep learning about all this makeup crap just for you guys because I know you love it and I know you love my impressions. And I am going to perfect a Jaclyn Hill impression for you guys. Because today her impressions were like, you guys, I just really can't put my name on something that I don't believe in. And Matt and Becca was just so great, you guys. I can't, I'm so emotional. I was going to cry. I feel like that's how Jaclyn talks. I'm not sure if that's been perfected yet, but I feel like I'm getting close. I'm going to work on that. I've got to work on that. All right, you guys. It's hot in here. It's Saturday night. I'm tired. It's 10 o'clock. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you for hanging out with me. I will bring you more dirt from the makeup world, not the tea. I will bring you the facts. I'm going to start calling it the facts with Katie. The facts about influencers with Katie Paulson from Without a Crystal Ball. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. I'm at WOA Crystal Ball. And also, if you haven't followed me on Facebook, I'm Facebook. I actually wrote 2 articles today. I wrote a follow-up on an article I wrote on Mercedes Carrera. So if you had been following her story that happened with her arrest that happened in February, and that was someone you were interested in, check out my column. And I also did a follow-up for the grapefruit mom in Florida who denied her child chemotherapy. There have been some very interesting developments in that story, and both of those are on my Cat Pathios blog today for you to read. I will be back maybe tomorrow. I don't know. I might take a day off. I'm not sure. I can never actually take a day off, you guys, because I'm kind of a workaholic. But I'll be back. If you have questions, find me on social media. And as always, have a good night. Bye.